Hey everyone, E3 Cube Store sent me a cube for them to review. It's the 4x4x5, so let's see what we have here. Alright. Okay. There we are. It looks like the brand name is Ali's Toy. Kind of interesting, I've never really heard of that brand before. There we go, finally got it. Okay, so here it is. A 4x4. Looks like it has a similar color scheme to, or similar looking stickers to an Ishin cube. Even sounds like an Ishin cube, so it seems to work pretty well. So yeah, of course those layers don't turn. Oh, this is going to be very interesting to solve. Fascinating. So yeah, I'm certainly going to have to play around with this. Alright, after having this puzzle for a few days, I must say that I do like it. And sure enough, it does use the Ishin mechanism, although of course it's modified too for this particular puzzle type. For an Ishin mechanism, corner cutting is what you'd expect. Kind of locks up a little bit. It's smooth at times, and it's... yeah, so... but you can still decently control the cube. The cube did come pre-lubricated, which is pretty nice. Don't know if it's the best kind of lube out there, but I'm sure it works pretty well. And just like on the Ishin cube, these kind of centerpieces do pop out. Not these middle ones, just the corners, and so they can just be popped back on really easily. Now, as for solving it, it's really a level up from the 3x3x4. So, with that knowledge, I was able to solve it within 1 or 2 hours, but it was a very fun, enjoyable challenge. I won't be making a tutorial for this because my method for the 3x3x4 was hard enough as it is, much less on the 4x4x5. If I tried teaching it, it would be so easy to get lost, so I'm afraid you won't be seeing any tutorials from me. Now, as for a size comparison, it does seem to be the same size as the Ishin cube, though I can't find mine at the moment. Here's a 3x3 though for a comparison. So they're a bit tiny, but it's still controllable. Now, as for disassembling it, it was a bit tricky at first, but I finally figured out that if you turn the longer side 45 degrees, then it simply pops out like this, along with the centerpiece. There we are. So I don't want to take it apart too much because it's rather difficult to reassemble. There we are, so we've got the basic inner pieces that you typically see in an Ishin cube. Now the pieces do look quite funny. Here's a corner one that sticks up all the way like this, and then here's the edge piece that goes right below it. So, you can see that there. You can also make out some of the lubricant that is on there as well. And here are some of the corner centers that can be split apart from the inner piece. Now, I definitely don't recommend that if you take this apart, not to take these, because they have to go on in a certain way, and it can just be pretty confusing which direction you need to put it on. And then here's a typical Ishin centerpiece. And then, of course, the inner edge pieces, and this is the inner centerpiece. Now, since this has a few even layered sides, there's of course going to be an inner layer that has to stay in alignment. So you can see here that it's staying in there quite nicely. This thing isn't rotating around freely. But if I rotate it over here, and if the pieces stop getting, there we are, then this piece, you can see, is locked in place. So this particular piece is what's keeping this inner layer in alignment from this center to that center, while the other piece can come up freely. There we are. There's another piece that kind of popped out. So the piece that was just left behind was this one, and it kind of fits in that little slot there. And this notch that sticks up fits into this little hole in the centerpiece, and that is what keeps the inner layer in alignment. So now that it's removed, notice that I can now turn the inner layer freely, and as a result, I'm probably going to lose all of my pieces. So that little notch there solves the problem. Now, one last thing before I put this back together is it doesn't look like there's any springs, so that's something you won't be able to look forward to. So again, I do recommend this puzzle. It was a fun challenge to figure out how to solve. It's also offered at a decent price, so I would definitely recommend it. And again, this cube was provided by e3cubes.com, a store based here in the US. They claim they match prices with other competitors so that they always have the cheapest ones. The link to this cube from their store is provided below. And if you guys found this review helpful, feel free to check out the playlist of other cubing reviews I made. Or even if you want to be notified of when videos like these are uploaded, then you can subscribe above. Thanks for watching!